Hi, we are back working on a second signature for page 1. We've done the left inside panel, we've done page 1, and now we're doing the back side, which is page 2, and this is all taking place on that first page that we built when we first started the album. So we're going to work with the clock piece as our front and center piece. And in your cutouts, there is a circle with a clock that matches this. We are going to use this piece. Once you've cut this and centered it, we're going to use this piece here, and we're going to use a magnet on the back side to hold everything down. But before we get into how I got here, because there is some trimming, let's go ahead and let's move to the inside of the album, and let's get started on this piece. Move this up here out of the way. Okay, so I'm kind of approaching this pocket two different ways, and I'm going to show you the options, and then you can decide what it is that you want to do. In your trimmings, there are two pieces. One that has this tree and a house flanked behind it. And then there's a piece, and I've already cut a piece off here that had another tree. What I've done is I've taped both of these halves together, because you typically see a tree in the front or in the back of a tree, so these being off center does not matter. If you think of a forest, if you think of trees in your front yard, they're flanking one another. I lined everything up here so that as best as possible that this would line up. Now, if the seam bothers you, let me finish showing what I'm going to build here. I like to play with my scraps, so if I see a couple of pieces, my brain gets going. You've got a small clock that you can cut out. You have a couple of, I'm going to call them stars, that you can cut out. And then there's the gingerbread house that we can put right here, or you can raise it and put it here so it's in front of that house. So this could be one way of, and then I'm going to put a string of bling here. So this is one way you can do it, and it helps to minimize the visibility of that seam if it doesn't bother you. If it does bother you, there is this piece. So if you put this here, the clock, and what I'm going to, I think these are, they look like seed pods to me, but I'm not sure what they are. Or you can do this. So whichever way, both of these are coming from your scraps. It just really depends upon what, oh, let's not forget this. It really depends on what you want to see. If the seam does not bother you, this gives you a nice visual. If the seam does bother you, then this one gives you a cleaner approach, and you got the gingerbread with the snow on the ground, the clock, and the couple of stars. I happen to like this piece. That doesn't mean I won't use this piece. I certainly will. But I happen to like this piece. So I'm going to build with this, and I'm going to then put my house, and I think I'm going to put it here at the base of the tree. And then I'm going to put in my clock. And then I'm going to put in my stars somewhere on there. Okay, so what that does to me is it pulls my eye to these items and away from that seam. So that's what I am going to do. Let me get some tape on this. I don't know where there it is. I get to moving things around on my desk and then I can't find it. Okay. Line this up. My glue. I will remove this. Okay, so I'm gonna put my clock on. Now I did not matte this. I thought it would look better if it wasn't matted. And I'm still gonna drop this right here so the tree's coming up from behind it. And it sits on the same level as the house that's in the back. So that's your neighbor back there. And then we're gonna take and put a little bit of glue. A little bit of glue. I apologize if you hear a helicopter in the background. Obviously someone's doing a flyover. And then I'm going to add my bling. And again, this will help again with visual aid to pull the eye away from that seam. Okay, that part's finished. Cap off my glue. All right, so let's move to your left and right flaps. They're going to be the same. Oh, I apologize. God, I'm so bad about this. This piece ended up being 3 inches wide by the time I got done trimming this down to where I wanted it to be. So it's 3 inches by the 8 3/4 in the height, because this piece, which I think I forgot to tell you, was 8 3/4. I'm so bad, by 8 3/8. I apologize. Please forgive me. I've been trying to do better about that, and I just kind of went off into my own little world again. For so many years I built albums, and it was not the need to worry about measurements. I just made and moved along. So I regress every once in a while, and then I have to remind myself. All right, so this piece is going to measure, and it's 6 inches by the 8 3/4, and then you're going to have a 1/2 inch score mark. And that is going to go right here. And I'm going to scoot it right up to the score line. Well, come on. There we go. And this one is going to have the same measurements. So the two of them, turn this way, are going to be 6 by 8 3/4 with a 1/2 inch score. 2 panels. Well, come on. It's hanging up on the inside pocket. All right, so we have these 2 panels. Now on the inside, we are going to use this pattern piece out of your 12 by 12 backgrounds. And you will simply come in here and you will cut it to fit so that you are not encroaching on your score mark, and you leave enough here around the edges. Or if you want a wider edge, certainly do so. It's your album. I just cut to fit. I don't try to work with all kinds of numbers. Okay, just slide right up to that. Make sure we've got our edge over here. And what we're doing on this side is exactly what we're going to do on the left-hand panel. You'll use the other half of this piece for that left side panel. Now in your ephemera that do peel, I'm still humbly embarrassed by that. Oh well. But see, this is why I thought there wasn't sticky backs on it, because I can't get it off. And if you don't remember, the whole front of this album, I glued them all in place, not peeling this off. And it is, I don't think it's worth peeling them off if it's going to be this hard. Oh, for Pete's sake. I am just a hair away from giving up. Gee, my knees Louise. Just going to stick a bell, ephemera bell up here at the top. Now here down at the bottom, I want to, I found this strip in my scraps. I think it's really pretty. And I have cut a red band just big enough to place this on there. And I'm taping across the bottom of the band. And I'm just going to come up about 1 inch off the bottom and put this on there. And what it does is it's just a different look to the page. But if you come in here, you've got room to put a 6 by 4 photo very comfortably. Now you can come in, and with what I'm creating here, you can come in here. In addition to, you've got a tuck. So you can take your 4 by 6 photo and tuck it in. So let's go ahead and let's put this on. Like I said, I want to come up about 1 inch off the bottom. I like to see that nice color beneath the band. And I don't know if I'm getting it straight here. Yeah. When you put things on at an angle, it's kind of hard to see. Okay, so that's in there. I'm going to erase some pencil marks. Glue this in place. Okay, where's my piece? And there's your tuck. So you can put in a 4x6 photo, tuck it in, or you can lay your 4x6 photo on there. I gotta close my door. My husband's gonna start mowing the lawn. Sorry about that. All right, so let's do the same thing on this panel. We've got the other sheet. So what I did here is I pulled the red ginger in on this by using these two sheets on either side of it. I did the same thing here. And because I want this to look correct, I am going to take my my ruler, and line this up. So that does not look straight. That is not straight. Goodness sakes. Come on. Excuse my head if it's in the video, I apologize. Okay, give it a second for that to kind of dry so the tape will stick. I may have to tack that down. I don't want to use glue because glue likes to spread. It's starting to go down now. Tuck. All right, where's my bell? Okay, let's see if I can do a better job of getting this off of there. Oops, now I'm tearing it. Well, goodness sakes. It is completely tearing. Okay, I'm giving up. I am not going to ruin this anymore. I don't know why that's so difficult for me. so I'm just going to glue it down. It is what it is. All right, so here we go. On the inside, and we have our tuck, and in fact, I want to take one of these and set it over here. Okay, so let's close her up. Now, we're going to play with this piece. I really think it's so sweet. It's so delicate. And it comes with this, and there is a band across the bottom. Cut that band completely off. Then you're going to come in. That's going to annoy me. I'll take it out of there for a bit. And then you're going to come in and you're going to trim this to fit. And then the moon, I've cut several moons with the bottom off, and this time I thought we're going to play with the moon. So then you're going to come in and you're going to cut across the bottom, leaving the treetops and the moon. Now, you'll be able to put a photo here. You'll be able to put a photo in here. These would also make great pages for hand journaling. I think that would look so elegant. Whether you've got good handwriting or bad handwriting, if you're in an album and you're telling a story, your handwriting is valuable, especially if, you know, down the road a ways, it ends up being an heirloom with the photos and the stories that you put in it. Sorry if I got a little bit more where I emphasize that all, and I'll kind of share with you why. My mom passed a number of years ago now, and it never occurred to me or any of my sisters to actually ask her for details of photos. Who are these people? What was the event? What was the occasion? Can you at least give me what year it was? So now I have a box full of photos, and I don't know who these people are, and I don't know the importance of them in her life. And she's not around to tell me. So I am doing my best to trace everybody, but it's a bit of an arduous process. Okay, we're going to set this in here, and you know, when I trim these and I've laid them flat, they trim out very nice. But then when I fold them, this roll takes up room, and so I have to trim this down. I was a little frustrated with that. Why were my cuts always so off kilter? And then it occurred to me. So let me ink this, and we should be, I may have to trim the other one. Now that looks so much better. All right, let's get her glued. So much better. Okay, let's look at this one again. Okay, no, I'm okay on this one. All right, so that's what we have so far, okay? get some of my inky stuff out of the way. All right, now our next two panels. I might have to do some trimming, so I'm going to get these panels on first. When you're building pages, and as many pages as I have built, this has always been a struggle. When you're building pages like we just did, you're building this end up. In fact, you're building up both ends because you've got that cardstock piece. And on this particular side, this is rolling a little bit more because of the pocket, the long pocket that's in there. So when these come in, they should match up. But I am finding that they don't. It doesn't matter if I go middle, if I measure to the middle, cut to the middle, they're always going to be off because of that buildup. So I have right now, they're both off just about 1/16 of an inch on either side. So I can be happy with that and leave it, or I can trim it down. But once I trim it down, I can't put that piece back on there. So I'm going to put this on first, make sure that all the glue, the tape, the pieces are where they're supposed to be. And then if I have to trim it, I'll put it on my big trimmer. Might help if I had some tape on this. I'll put it on my big trimmer and trim it down. I thought if I left about 1/16 of an inch when I measured to the center, it would work, but it doesn't because sometimes my builds can be a good 1/8 of an inch on those inside seams because of how big I build up some of the signatures. Okay, so I want to bring this about midway between the two score lines so that this folds over nice and easy. And again, about midway between the two score lines. Now let's see. Okay, so I am still off. I'm off by a considerable amount. Let's make sure that these gussets are standing back where they're supposed to be. That might be beneficial. And it's crooked. Jiminy's, Charlie. Oh, holy guacamole. You get to watch me make a goobery mess out of this. Okay, so I don't want to waste the tape, so we're going to try and use it. Now when I put this in here, it would be helpful if, shoot. Okay, gonna waste the tape. Yeah. Get off. Well, this turned out to be a nice little mess, didn't it? Okay, let's try this again. Let's make sure that we've got these things even this time, knucklehead. So much better. Okay. Make sure that's where it's supposed to be. All right, so now that I've got my gusset standing tall and everything is as it should be, I don't feel I need to trim this off, so I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. All right, you have a 12 by 12 piece that looks like this, except there's a piece about like so. I wanted these here on the ends. They add nice texture. And we're gonna go, hold on here, I gotta think about something here. We're gonna go ahead and put those on the inside. And then these are gonna go, then I can put this one down because I've got a magnet here I need to place. And I want it to place here. So I'm okay to glue these panels down. Now, there's that page that has those wonderful little sayings. I took two of them, Magic Night and Wintertime, and I'm going to put them up here, and I ran a piece of tape across the top because I'm going to create a tuck here, so you can tuck underneath and you still have a spot here to put your photo. And then I'm going to do the same over here. Now there's several different sayings there. I preferred using the smaller width ones so they didn't take up so much room on the panel. And this one I ran tape across the top of it as well. And it's just going to come in here about center. There we go. All right, so now we have a couple of nice decent tucks. You've got a spot here for photos or for some hand journaling or just leave it alone, both sides. Tucks, that's right. I wanted to put one down here to help remind myself. Now, we're going to work on this guy. Okay, so this is the center of, let me see if I can find this. This piece is the center to this. So what I started off with, because I didn't know how far I wanted to come in here, but I thought I might want to save these panels to do something else with them, is that I cut this out first. I cut the center out. So once I got the center out, then I was able to take a look at, that still wants to creep up. Then I could take a look at how I wanted to cut this given the size of my panels. So this is what I ended up with. So I did trim a bit off. Let's bring this back. So I did trim a little bit off here on both sides. And I did trim down through the berry in the top of that little evergreen piece. And then down here at the bottom, I did trim through here in order to get this. And then with this clock piece, says exactly the same thing. I went in and put it together because it was not easy to put that tape on there and a circular pattern, because you know it doesn't curl very easy. And it took me a little bit to work this and turn this. So I prepped this ahead of time. But it's just, I used a set of cutting dies that I have, and I cut these out and then cut out the cardstock. And then I came in here, I inked the edges, and it really was a waste of energy because I ended up covering it up. But the other thing that I did was I came in with some Wink of Stella, and I went over the berries, the holly leaves here, and this bow, so that as you turn and work this, you get that beautiful little glitter. So that's going to come and sit right here. And if I position this the right way, the corresponding numbers will be right where the 5, the 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way around. All right? Now, I can glue this piece down, but this one I can't yet because I've got to place this magnet, but I can't place the magnet until I get this attached. So let's get some glue on this piece here. I'm going to move this out of my way so I can see how this is lining up. I want to try and be the same top to bottom on this. Need to pull it just a little bit. It's not gonna, it's stuck. It's stuck. One of the drawbacks to using the type of glue I'm using. Okay, now we're gonna close this. So what I did was, I pretended, am I saying that right? That this was all together. And that this was going to sit in here like so. And I made tick marks with my pencil on the reverse side of this, right here, so that I would know where to go with my glue, because this side here I'm going to glue down. Okay, I'm going to get glued down. But I had laid this in here very carefully so it would be in the spot that it was supposed to be in. So when I put the glue down, this is going to sit, I hope, correctly. But I needed to know where to glue. Put a fair amount because it's going to be some tug on that piece. All right, I'm just going to leave this here. Line all this back up. And then very carefully come in here. I got to twist this just a little bit. Get off of there. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, I can see I had my pencil mark wrong. Oh gosh. I got glue on this. A little bit of wet wipe. Wonder how I must have been, anyway, whatever. But we'll be okay because this is now on, this is on, these are all lined up. Now I'm going to put a bit of tape on the back side of this magnet. I'm out of my basic grays, so I'm having to use something else. Okay, line these up. Down you go. I'm going to need to cover this. I did not expect that look, so I will take a piece and cover that. Okay, so now we're going to take some tape. And we're going to tape this one down because of the magnet. Trying to feel to see if my I did put the magnet in the right place. I just had this tilted wrong. And then a little bit of tape here to ensure that it stays in place. Okay. And then I'm going to close this again. Don't do that, Charlie, because I want to line this piece up with the other edge. Oh, that was a funky movement. Ta-da! So what I was trying to line up was to make sure that the circle, the moon, these guys here were lined up and not off kilter. Now what I need to do is I need to cover this. So the only way I know to do that and get a good fit is to take, can I get that pencil off of there with the glue? I really buggered that up. Okay, so I have an option to take another red one, because I can cut another one of these, or use half of this, but then my problem is I'm going to see all this up here. That's not going to work for me. So I am going to cut this. I apologize, my dog is out here barking. That's embarrassing. Hold on just a moment. It might be that she wants in because I closed my door. Ethel! Ethel! No! Come here. Come here. Get in here. Gosh. I apologize for the interruption. That's embarrassing. Okay, so I'm okay with that. So that's how I'm going to cover this. She's got her hair all raised up. She's barking at something. There, look at that. So you don't even know that there was a mess up on this side. Ta-da. All right, so we are finished at this point with this. glue off my hands. Let's go ahead, turn her over, and let's get the tape on the back side. Again, my apologies, people. Lawnmower, dog, goodness sakes. Just, what can I do? Just laugh at it. And then a couple of 3/8 strips down the center for additional support. All right, let's grab our album and let's put this in there. So it's going to go right here. All right, what's going to happen here, and I may think I might put some more tape on the back to pull this down because it wants to spread open. I'm not sure why, but okay, I'm bringing this gusset up to this edge. And I'm turning it so I can see 3 of the 4 sides for lining up. Got it way off. God bless America. Come off there. Let's try it from this angle. Oh, much better. I don't remember where the tape is, so I'm just going to burnish all of that really well. And I'll start taking it apart, getting the tape here. And I know I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself, but when you pull off these pieces here, or however it is you're placing it into your album, just make sure that your gussets have not collapsed on you and that they are sitting up straight. And then I'll be watching for that here on this one as well. Good, good, good. Tape burnished in there. And I like to do a really good burnish. All right, so there we go. We are all done. I'll see you when we do this one. Until then.